it's time to get serious. So, I'm really bad at talking about things that are controversial or, like, just not even controversial. Generally difficult to talk about, and I'm not really equipped to talk about a lot of things. I'm not good at talking about things I'm not equipped to talk about, or don't feel like I have the experience, or I'm in the right place, or even the right time, or the right anything to talk about. This is something that and I'm not going to bring up, I'm going to try my best to not bring up any sort of specific issues or anything that's going on, but in general, I'm concerned, because, there's a lot of really bad things happening, and I know this isn't, like, secret to anyone that, like, there's bad things happening in the world, and I'm not going to go into what or whatever, because I don't really want to, like, argue my political or social opinions in this video. That's not the point of this video. There's still a ton of bad things happening, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. In fact, it seems to be getting worse, and that's something that... There are important things happening that aren't getting proper media coverage. There are bad things happening that are just bad, and are getting tons of media coverage. There's a lot of... I don't want to say this, but there's a lot of people who just don't seem to know what they're doing, and, have elected some people, or could elect some people who are, again, I'm not trying to get, political or whatever, but, I'm just concerned with people don't seem to be very smart or be doing their research in general. But again, I'm not here to judge people for who you voted for or whatever. That's not why I'm here. And I'm not necessarily even talking about the US. I've been seeing a ton of stuff going on, obviously worldwide, and lately, I'm not even gonna go down that road, because I'm not equipped to talk about it. I know I'm not equipped to talk about it, and I'm not even equipped to talk about American politics, because I don't understand a lot of things, and I get serious anxiety about politics, and I'm just going to say, I've had irrational anxiety before. I've had anxiety about Donald Trump. I'm just going to be blunt and not hide what I'm saying here. This is not something, as someone with an anxiety disorder, a lot of my thoughts are not rational. It's not just has to do with Trump, it has to do with everything that I get anxious about. I can get anxious about, oh, what if there's a 1 in 1,000 chance that a tornado comes through my town and I die? Like, just because I say I was anxious about something happening doesn't mean I actually believe it will happen, or that I'm stupid or whatever. I don't even remember the specific example or why I was anxious about this particular thing, but I might have been gun violence or something. I don't remember what it was. Again, I'm not pinning all the blame on Trump. I'm not trying to say it's a simple issue that can be solved in any simple way. It can't. But I'm just saying I've had bad anxiety about stuff like that in the past, and I've had people who will, like, dismiss it or whatever because I disagree with their opinion, and it's like, I don't care if you agree with my opinion. If I have serious anxiety, you can't just be rude about it, or just... I had a relative who was... It's like, I can't control having the anxiety regardless of whether or not it's warranted, but that's also not the point of this video. The point of this video is that I see so many people yelling and arguing and just being overall mean and angry and upset, and I completely understand why people are angry. I completely understand why people feel passionate about all of these issues, and none of these issues that get talked about, none of the, like, hot button issues or whatever, I don't think any of them are simple. I don't think any of them can be solved by simply doing one thing or another thing. I think a lot of them are a lot more... I'm sorry. I think a lot of them are a lot more complex than most people let on about. And that's just true. That's just going to be true. A lot of these issues are way more complex than any political party or anybody is going to oversimplify the issues to try to get people to join their side, or like rhetoric. But these issues are way more complex than what one side or the other side says. And these are not black and white issues. These issues are incredibly complex, and I just want people, this is just what I'm asking everyone, especially my generation, but everybody in general. First of all, be informed. Don't make decisions just because other people tell you to, or just because you believe everything that an individual or a group is saying. But be informed and make decisions based on your own judgment and your own things, and actually do your research. And if you don't do your research and you don't get invested, then you shouldn't be complaining about the outcome, because that's just something that just doesn't seem fair. But more importantly, the more important thing here, and I'm not very good about talking about this stuff at all. But I'm not very good at talking. I'm socially awkward. I'm autistic. I'm whatever. But the more important thing here is that I want people to just get talking. Don't be afraid. This is something I want to say, and this is something I've had to learn for myself. Don't be afraid to bring up important issues, but also don't be rude about them. Like, don't be mean. Don't call people out. It's okay to disagree, and I don't think these serious, terrible issues are going to be solved from people arguing and yelling at each other. So if you can't say something nice, don't say it. That is what I will say. If you can civilly disagree with someone, that's possible. And if you're trying to civilly disagree with someone and the person on the other end is just being completely closed off, then it's probably not worth it to even continue trying to talk to them. If someone can't be reasoned with, then they can't be reasoned with. But in general, I'm saying to all of you to try and open up conversations, try and actually talk about these issues instead of just bashing people and spewing your opinion like in ways that just feel gross or whatever. Seriously, try to talk about these issues and try to explain your reasoning, explain your rationale, and try, and this is the most important part, try to listen, assuming the other person on the other end is being rational and not yelling or being rude. Of course, if someone's being rude or being whatever, they don't deserve your attention, they don't deserve but try to listen to people's opinions. Just because you disagree with an opinion, don't automatically write it off. Try to listen to people's opinions, and discuss, ask questions, like polite questions. Why do you think this? Or say if you disagree with something. Try to understand the other side. Most opinions and most issues have someone coming from a different side that makes sense to someone. It may not make sense to you initially, and you may not change your mind, but seeing things from the other side really helps, and that's so important. Understanding the other side of an argument, even if you don't agree with it, is something that I think is super important to forming your own argument and doing this, and trying to understand, just to be nice and just accept people in general, because I see a lot of hatred too. A lot of people will target a specific race or sexuality or gender or whatever, and it's just kind of like, there's no reason. I'm saying people on both sides of the political spectrum, and the political spectrum is much bigger than a two-sided thing, but I'm saying people on extreme ends of both sides of the spectrum will say things, will target things. Just because you've been done wrong by people in the past doesn't mean you have an excuse to reflect that behavior and do that back at the people who've hurt you. Revenge is not the best thing to do, pretty much ever, but in these types of situations. So, yeah, I'm just getting this out there. Just please, and this is just something I just want to say again, please talk. Like, I don't mean to be, like, whatever, but, if you have something to say, don't be afraid to say it, but also don't be rude and try to be civil and try to be open to discussion, open to other people's opinions. I want to have good discussions with people. I want people to be open to just talking about these issues. Not talking about them is contributing to the problem. If you talk about issues and know what you're doing and try to understand the other side of the issue, then you never know. You may end up being able to reach more of a common ground than you ever initially realized. So, yeah. That's about it. I just wanted to say that because I've just been thinking a lot in general, and talking about these sorts of issues is so important. Talking about them politely and civilly and trying to understand each other, all of that is just so important, and I think that we've kind of lost that in our society. We're just kind of, oh, this is my opinion, and I'm just not going to listen to the other side, or I'm just going to be rude, and it's just, like, not something. And you can even do it online. You can type, think before you speak, think before you type, think before you tweet. That's all I can say right now, and just in general, it's just something that's super important. And no, this is not an April Fool's video or anything. This is just seriously something I've been thinking about a lot, and this is serious. I don't do April Fool's videos, but anyway, getting serious for real is something that I think is kind of important, and that's just something that I personally believe is something that should be talked about, and that these issues should be talked about and approached from different sides to try to come up with a solution that's best for everyone, or at least a majority of people, because there's always going to be crazy people. But yeah, so if you like the video, click like down below, and this is not the type of video I normally make. I normally do music reviews or different types of content, but in general, I try to stay away from, like, super controversial. I mean, I have said my opinion on things in the past, and if you ever want me to talk about an issue, you can comment down below. If you want my opinion on something, I will gladly tell you my opinion on something. If you disagree with me, that's fine, but I'm not going to push my opinions out there in the open. I'm not going to tell anybody any of that. I'm just saying, if you want to know what my opinion is, go ahead and comment. Or if you want to, I'm completely open to discussion. If you want to talk anything, social media links are in the description, and you can go follow me over there if you want. And yeah, so that's about it. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to say, just to get that out there in the open and encouraging discussion. And yeah, all right, bye.